Hey everybody, CB here. The boys are out trying to catch the puppet murderer, so they asked me to introduce this next little segment. It's our good buddy Andre interviewing Mike Allred. So take it away, roll it. Hey, you can't park that.
Hey, this is Andre Simonovich, and we're talking with Mike Allred. And I'll be asking the questions today. And I just want to thank Matt. Matt and Bert for letting me do this. Mike, how you doing?
Fantastic.
Okay. And the first question is, I just want to know, coming from one dad to another, and who has a family, and I have 2 kids and 1 on the way, and you have three great kids. There's times when, you're working on something and you have a deadline, and, you kind of have to say, honey, I'm going to be out like this whole weekend, so, I know there's a lot of dads out there that probably want to know, what kind of things do you have to do to kind of make sure that you can get that family time with your kids while you're working on your comics too?
Well, first off, I never tell my wife anything. I always ask. So that's step one. Honey, may I? Those are the first words out of my mouth. It's funny that working at home, the kids are always there. It's been a wonderful blessing. When we started doing well enough that Laura could be home full time, she was in jewelry before. You'd think, oh, we're going to get sick of each other because we're all around all the time. The exact opposite happened. We just grew closer. And even when I was first wanting to do this as a career and the kids were real tiny, I actually was able to draw while they were climbing all over me. I kind of got this shock absorber in my shoulder, so I would still, at least with the penciling stage, be able to draw even though they were jumping on me and stuff. So my son is here now. Obviously, we've become close, and it's family's everything for us. So I've never found it a problem finding the time. We're just always together. I may not be paying attention to them all the time, but we're always together.
Okay, I guess the next question is, we all want to know about Madman. Getting on to Madman, and we know you're leaving Madman with issue 17, and we just want to know, when you leave Madman for a while and you get back into it, how hard is it to get back into Madman? Is it like riding a bike, or do you have to kind of exercise those muscles a little bit more to get back into it?
It's actually, it builds an anticipation. It's a pattern that's formed. That I'll do Madman, I'll do something else. I've always jumped around Vertigo projects, Marvel projects, DC, and so there's always something to be excited about. And then when but Madman's home. That's my comic book family, and I know I'm going to get back there. Just like when I like to keep my family close. Sometimes we're not together. We look forward to getting back together, and when we get back together, it's that much more exciting. Same thing with Madman. I know I'm going to be away from doing it full time for quite a while. I'm going to do some specials, but each time I anticipate doing a story or a project or a giant one-shot or again a series. There's so much anticipation that when everything clears away and I get back onto it, it's like a little explosion. And I think, at least personally, I'm more satisfied with each thing that I do over time. Madman Atomic Comics, I think is the best thing I've ever done. At this stage of my career, if somebody was to come in cold and ask me, what are you most proud of? I would just bring out Madman Atomic Comics. This is what I'm most proud of.
Okay, and I guess the last question is, we all know that Red Rocket 7, you're so influenced by music. I think you've said that sometimes when you listen to music, it kind of puts the images in your head, and you just want to draw those images like dreams, like visual, stimulation. We just want to know, how much do comics influence your music, like with your upcoming Gear album?
That's hard to say. The music is always the soundtrack to either what I'm working on or what I'm reading. So, like for instance, reading John Buscema's Conan's, I think of Electric Light Orchestra because I was when I was listening. You know, my brother had the records playing while I was reading a big mass stack of those, so they'll be forever connected. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like I hear all these Electric Light Orchestra songs as I'm, you know, whenever I look at that stuff. It's like that a lot. Where, but as far as music influencing my comics, so there's soundtracks to comics, and then there's music that I've listened to that then have inspired comics. I'd say David Bowie is by far the single artist that would have put the most images in my head. There's just so much imagery in his lyrics and music, and then the moods of the songs. And you know, all of my favorite bands and artists do that for me, but Bowie would be the one that really kind of got in there and messed with my head more than anybody else. But I don't think I can't think of an example of when a specific comic then filtered back into influencing our music, with the exception of Red Rocket 7 and the Gear. So that all just kind of came together kind of organically.
So maybe Red Rocket 7 sort of, obviously, as you said, found its way into your album.
Yeah.
The sort of story.
The first album, yeah, absolutely. Red Rocket 7, it was a movie Astro-esque. The album by the Gear, and of course the Red Rocket 7 series, they all just kind of came together at the same time. And so the story influenced much of the concept of the album, and therefore the lyrics, and even the order of the songs. If it was to be just a regular non-conceptual album, then the songs would have been in a different order, but there was a specific reason that they kind of came together the way that they did. But surprisingly, there wasn't a lot of it. It was incredibly easy. And I look back on that now, and I still don't understand how that all happened. I mean, because you know, there's flaws certainly, and it was first time I made a full-length feature movie, the first time we did an album. But I look back now, and it's like, wow, that's not bad. I mean, I'm really happy with it, and now that we've finished our second album, I can look back and go, no, it's pretty lousy, because this second album is fantastic. So, yeah, I'm really happy with it.
Great. Well, we just want to thank you again so much, and on behalf of One Shot Presents, thank you so much. We love your art. I mean, you're like, for us, it's like visiting the Pope. You know, this is you're like the holy grail of our comics enthusiasm.
You're too kind. Way too kind. Thank you.
No, wait, thank you.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that little segment. We want to thank Andre and Mike Allred. As a reminder, though, we want to let you know that Brick and Tiger versus the Confederate Army is now up on YouTube and on Comcast On Demand. So, check it out. Slow down.